Good morning, Belen. It's the most wonderful time of the year. My name is Simon Sesser.
And I'm Nicholas Casadiego. Welcome to this edition of WBLN for December 12, 2018.
There's a lot, but first, breaking last night. At least 2 people were killed and 11 others were injured after gunshots were fired in the center of the northeastern French city of Strasbourg Tuesday evening. The Interior Ministry said in a tweet that there was an incident in Strasbourg and urged the public to stay indoors. Live images from the scene indicate that the incident took place near the Christmas market in the center of the city. There's a large police presence. The gunman remains at large as of last night. He was identified by the authorities as an Islamist extremist, according to a report by NBC, and was known for common law offenses, according to the Interior Minister.
Yesterday, it was intended to be a closed-door meeting between the President and President Trump and Democratic congressional leaders at the White House. But when cameras were invited in, they quickly descended into arguing and anger. The President went at it with White House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi and her Senate counterpart Chuck Schumer over border security, a possible government shutdown, and other matters. Take, for instance, this exchange as Trump appears to imply that Pelosi is only talking tough so she can become the House Speaker again.
I also know that, Nancy's in a situation where it's not easy for her to talk right now, and I understand that, and I fully understand that. We're going to have a good discussion, and we're going to see what happens. But we have to have border security.
Mr. President, please don't characterize the strength that I bring to this meeting as the leader of the House Democrats who just won a big victory.
Elections
But
have consequences, Mr. President.
Let me just say.
That's right. And that's why the country is doing so well.
Trump also told Schumer that he would be, quote, proud to shut down the government over border security. Pelosi after told her Democratic colleagues that during a closed-door part of the meeting, Trump said Mexico would be paying for the southern border with the money that the U.S. will get from the new trade agreement between Canada, U.S., and Mexico.
Back here on campus, the counseling department hosted a ping pong tournament yesterday to help Belen family members relieve stress before midterms. Student and faculty members both participated, including Father Willie, Ms. Ortiz, and Mr. Montesi. There were separate tournaments for each lunch period so that everyone had a chance to play. Reception of the event was overwhelmingly positive, and the counseling department looks to host similar events in the future.
On Friday, a group from the junior class visited Art Basel. Art Basel's world-leading shows in Basel, Hong Kong, and Miami connect collectors, galleries, and artists, are driving force in supporting the role of gallery play and nurturing the career of artists. The recently launched Art Basel Cities initiative highlights local scenes and facilitates international collaborations. The Art Basel publicates the art market and its principles, and best practices are commitment to increasing the transparency and accountability of the market.
On Friday, at the Mass of the Immaculate Conception, 11 students became consecrated to our Blessed Mother, with Father Willie leading them as they took their vows of faithfulness. But what do these vows mean? Georgie Perez has more.
Last Friday, during the Mass of our Immaculate Conception, 11 STOV members were consecrated to our Blessed Mother. The students were led by Father Willie as they grew into a deeper relationship with Mary.
So the Mass that we celebrated on Friday was the celebration of the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. And there's a tradition with an organization called the Agrupación Católica Universitaria, which they do consecration, a select number of people do consecration to the Blessed Mother on that feast day. And so ever since Estovir started a couple of years ago, we've had certain members of the group that feel inclined to do so have their consecration done to that sodality. So consecration means that you very consciously take that extra step of publicly committing yourself to anything. So if you're consecrated to one thing or another, it means you go the extra step publicly and privately in order to be able to commit yourself to something. And in this case, the consecration is to Mary, where you are publicly and privately expressing that you are going to enhance and work on your devotion to the Blessed Mother, understanding that she's one of the keys to our faith in the Catholic Church, because a devotion to Mary and a consecration to Mary brings you that much closer to Jesus, her son.
During the ceremony, Mr. Bustamante, who is the moderator of the club, led the group as they went through their vows. He hopes that the consecration helped to strengthen the students in their faith.
It means that you make a promise to Our Lady. And the promise is to grow in the faith, to make an effort to grow in the faith. It's a promise to be the absolute very best version of you can possibly be. The best way to practice your faith, in my opinion, the most complete way of practicing your faith is by serving others. So therefore, and that is one thing has to do with the other. So when you serve others, you are in fact loving God and growing into your relationship with God. And you also do that by learning about God, by developing a spiritual life, and by learning to depend on God and see His will in all things.
There's a phrase in Latin that says ad Jesum per Mariam, which means to Jesus through Mary, as an intercessor. The same way that Mary interceded at the wedding feast of Cana, and Jesus was able to work his miracle because of the intercession of Mary, because of the fact that Jesus was able to come into the world through Mary. There's an understanding that we could be drawn closer to Jesus through her as well, and that's what the consecration is.
The group hopes that now they are able to work in everything that they do through Mary and for God. For WBLN, this has been George Perez.
The Environmental Protection Agency is expected to announce policy changes that would likely allow more dumping into waterways. The expected changes would reduce which bodies of water are protected under the Clean Water Act. That's a federal law that forbids discharging pollutants into the navigable waters. In 2015, the Obama administration expanded the definition of what bodies of water were covered to include streams and wetlands. President Trump has been calling for an end to that definition, called the Waters of the United States rule, since 2016. The Trump administration published a new rule erasing Obama's expanded definition earlier this year, but then a federal judge issued an injunction against the action, restoring the 2015 expanded protections.
Giancarlo Benitez is back in studio to tell us more about the search for a new chief of staff. Giancarlo?
Thank you, guys. Good morning. Amidst the controversy surrounding the Trump presidency, the president is still in search for a new chief of staff.
The search is still on for the new White House chief of staff. Vice President Mike Pence's chief of staff, Nick Ayers, was the top pick to replace President Trump's departing chief of staff, John Kelly. A White House official told CNN Sunday that he will not be taking the job because Trump and Ayers couldn't agree on terms. Trump was pushing Ayers to commit to 2 years, but Ayers declined, citing family obligations and wanting to move back to his home state of Georgia. Sources say there was also resistance from the First Lady Melania Trump and some senior staff about Ayers taking on the role. On Twitter Sunday, Ayers thanked President Trump, Pence, and other colleagues for the time he has spent working at the White House over the past year. He said, quote, "I'll be departing at the end of the year, but will work with the MAGA team to advance the cause." A source familiar with the matter said after leaving the White House, he'll move on to run Trump's America's First Super PAC. President Trump tweeted about the open chief of staff role Sunday night. He said, quote, "I am in the process of interviewing some really great people for the position of the White House chief of staff. According to a source, 4 people are currently being considered. President Trump's excited to make a decision." I'm Giancarlo Benitez from WBLN News.
Thank you, Giancarlo. We move on to Joy Pereira for the latest on Brexit.
Of course, the road to Brexit was never going to be easy, but now it's chaos. In the disarray, some are rethinking that crucial vote than 2 years ago.
From the House of Commons to The Hague, to Berlin and Brussels, there's one issue dominating Europe's hall of power, and one woman marching down the mall. British Prime Minister Theresa May, who's hoping a series of meetings with EU leaders can help save her Brexit deal. Although, as ever with Brexit, there's always the odd bump in the road. She's in Brussels now to meet with European Commissioner Donald Tusk back home. British lawmakers were supposed to have voted on the deal today, but to avoid defeat, the PM has delayed the ballot until some point before January the 21st. And that means more back and forth over what is known as the Irish backstop.
Good morning, Belen. Here's your scoop for today. Registration for the Sophomore Culinary Experience Retreat in February is now available online at www.belenjesuit.org retreat payment. If you have any questions, please visit the Belen Jesuit Campus Ministry office. Last night, the Belen Band performed during the 2018 Christmas concert series directed by Marlene Ubat. The performance featured Band 6 and 7, the String Ensemble, the Drumline, the Jazz Band, and the soloists. The closing concert will be held tonight at 7:30 p.m. in the Roca Theater. This performance will feature Band 8, the High School Band, the Concert Band, the String Ensemble, the Drumline, and the soloists. Tickets are $15. For more information, contact the Ignatian Center for the Arts office at 786-621-4624. Now here's who's meeting after school today. The Chess Club will be meeting all week in room F203 at 3 p.m. Now stay with us as we bring you weather and sports after these messages.
Good morning, Belen. Here's your weather for today. Today we're going to be seeing temperatures at 73 degrees, sunny skies just like my eyes, and precipitation at 5%. Going into tonight, we're going to be seeing temperatures in the mid-60s with clear skies and 0% chance of rain. Now going into this week, we're going to be seeing temperatures in the high 70s and mid-70s. And we're going to be also seeing showers on Friday and Saturday. That's all for weather. Now
Thank you, Enrique. Here are your sports for today. The Wolverines took on the Terra Wolves last night at Terra. The Wolverines won 71-44. The leading scorer for the Wolverines was Daniel Suedo with 19 points. The team travels to St. Brendan tonight to take on the Sabres. Game time is at 7:30. This weekend, the Hometown Throwdown Invitational took place at Hialeah Gardens, which is a huge tournament that usually determines the state outcomes. The only one from Belen to make it to the finals from about 30 schools and over 300 people was Rafael Ruiz, who won second in the 170-pound class. Congratulations to him and the team. The crew team competed this past weekend at the Fall Sprint Regatta in Tampa, Florida. The team had 10 entries, and the results were freshman 4+ silver medal, freshman 4+B gold medal, middle school 8+A gold medal, middle school 8+B bronze medal, freshman 8+A gold medal, and second freshman 8+ gold medal. The Miami Heat traveled to Los Angeles to take on LeBron and the Lakers. LeBron James scored 28 points, and the Los Angeles Lakers survived Dwayne Wade's 15-point performance in the second half of the Superstars' probable final on-court meeting for a 108-105 victory over the Miami Heat on Monday night. The game appropriately ended with James guarding Wade, who missed a difficult three-point attempt in the waning seconds. After the buzzer sounded and they shared a hug and chat to close perhaps the final joint chapter of two careers that have intersected repeatedly since they entered the NBA together in 2003. The Seattle Seahawks hosted the Minnesota Vikings Monday night. Bobby Wagner blocked Dan Bailey's field goal attempt midway through the fourth quarter, sparking the Seahawks to two late touchdowns in a 21-7 win over the Seahawks, leading Seattle to its fourth straight victory. The win keeps Seattle in the playoff chase as they now have an 8-5 record and are second in the NFC West Division. That's all for sports. Now back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Lucky. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. That's all our news for today. I'm Simon Bassesser.
And I'm Nicholas Casadiego. From everyone here, have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year's, and like always, stay golden, Wolverines.